What if the struggle you're in right now is your personal Egypt? What if the way out doesn't come by escaping it, but by going through it? Let's get into it.
You believe that a Yid will win in the end. That if you stand with Hashem and you stand for what's right, you will march across the finish line. You will have victory.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to another episode of That Jewish Podcast. I am your host, as always, Yirmeyahu, and I am so thankful that you have joined me right here for another episode, for another day, just another few moments to hang out with your favorite podcaster. Listen, if you haven't done so already, please share this podcast with somebody that you know. Share it with your friends, your family, share it with your neighbor, share it with your annoying coworker. It doesn't matter. Just share this podcast so it can get out. So the algorithm can know that, hey, people like this podcast. Also, to help that algorithm to know that you like the podcast, when you see it on YouTube, please place a comment. If you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts, if you're listening to this on Spotify, leave a review, leave a comment. I think Spotify allows you to do comments as well. So whatever it may be, I've gotten a few comments and, try to engage with people, but we can have more. Listen, if you want to personally reach out to me, you can reach out at thatjewishpodcast@gmail.com, thatjewishpodcast@gmail.com. Let's get right into this episode, ladies and gentlemen. I do. So if you follow on YouTube, or you follow on Instagram or on my WhatsApp channel, all those links will be in the show notes. You know that I do something called the quotes from the rabbis. And I did a quote from Rabbi Yitzchak Hutner, and it really hit me. It touched me. And I said, man, I got to remember to go back and expound more on this subject of struggle. And I completely forgot about it. But then our rabbi did for the Shabbos Hagadol, he did a drasha on our, as Kol Israel, our capacity for pain. How much pain can you take? Because, his family is going through some personal issues and things of that nature. But, he was just giving a share about pain. How much pain can we take? And he gave a crazy statistic. It's crazy. And it's about not Jews in the United States of America per se, but about citizens of the United States of America. We only make up 4.2% of the world population. And I thought, just like you, I know, I thought we made up a whole lot more, but in the grand scheme of things, 330 something million people is nothing compared to 7 billion people in the world, right? So we make up about 4.2%, 4.5% of the world's population, but we consume 80 to 90% of the world's painkillers, opioids. That's crazy. So it shows how much pain we can't take, how we've succumbed to this lie of comfort, right? That everything has to be okay. If something is causing me pain, I got to deal with it. I can't take the pain. I can't take it. And statistics show that Americans as a whole, we can't take pain. And for sure, if we can't take pain, my assumption is we don't struggle well either. And the reality is that struggle is the best way to growth. Now, you don't have to create struggle. Struggle will find you. And anytime somebody says struggle, some people may think financial. No, millionaires, billionaires, they struggle too. Struggle is not always financial. Especially with Kol Israel, with the Yetzirah, we know that struggle is a spiritual thing. Struggle is a spiritual, physical thing. Struggle can be a mental thing. You can struggle in all kind of areas of life. But the struggle is not there to defeat you. It's there to help you grow. So if you listen to my quotes from the rabbis, you know that Rabbi Yitzchak Hutner, he said, a person grows not despite trouble, but because of it. And as we're getting close to Pesach, this isn't just a nice idea. This is the story of our people. Unfortunately, we've been trained to think if life is hard, it automatically means something is wrong. If I'm struggling, it automatically means I'm failing. If I feel resistance, it automatically means maybe this path wasn't for me. But look at the story of Pesach. Bnei Israel weren't redeemed before the struggle. They weren't taken out of Mitzrayim at the first sight of pain. As a matter of fact, it took some years. It took some hundreds of years, right? The struggle got worse before the redemption came. We know this. The slavery intensified, the pressure increased, the darkness deepened. Why? Why would all these things happen if we're crying out for Hashem's redemption? Why would the slavery intensify? Why would the pressure increase? Why would the darkness deepen? Because struggle, ladies and gentlemen, isn't a mistake in the system. Struggle is the system. Rav Hutner is teaching us, don't misread your life. Just because it's hard doesn't mean you're off track. Do we really believe that walking through the Bar Midbar was easy? Through the desert? We know it wasn't easy because they complained. We complained. Our people complained over and over and over again, even with the manna, even with the cloud, even with the fire, even after the tabernacle is built, we still complain. Why? Because it's not easy. It's not easy. The Meraglim, even when they go into the land, they see that, yes, it's flowing with milk and honey and all these things that God promised, but there's big giants there. And there's people that we have to fight off. And it's not going to be easy. Guess what? It's going to be a little bit hard. You're going to have to struggle just a little bit just to get the land. And what do? They convinced the people that the struggle wasn't worth it. So we even see that this idea that struggle isn't worth it or struggle is bad, it's nothing new, ladies and gentlemen. This is a 4,000-year-old idea that if I'm not going through a happy path, then something must be wrong. But again, struggle isn't a mistake in the system. Struggle is the system. It might mean you're exactly where you need to be. Let's go a little deeper. Egypt, Mitzrayim, comes from the word Mitzarim, which means constraints. It represents everything that limits you. Your habits, your fears, your distractions, your excuses. And what does Hashem do? He doesn't just remove the constraints instantly. He puts Am Israel inside of them so that we can develop the strength to break them. Because without restraint, there is no transformation. I'll say that again. Without restraint, there is no transformation. Think about it. We didn't just leave Egypt physically. We had to become a people capable of receiving the Torah. And that only comes through pressure. And the same is for us today. The thing that we're resisting in our life right now, that discomfort, that frustration, that internal battle, that's not random. That's our training ground. Those are the things that are supposed to make us stronger. Don't run from them. Don't run from them. Don't give in and say, well, shoot, you know what? This is too hard anyway. So whatever your struggle is, some of us like to give up too easily. And some of us like to succumb to the struggle. So if your struggle is a sin, some of us like to say, you know what, forget it. Everybody's doing it anyway. I'm not getting what I want. I'm not getting it how I want. It's too hard to do this. So you know what? I'm just going to go down this unhonest path. And hopefully nobody sees me. I'm going to go down this path path that is not full of integrity, this path that is in darkness, but it gets me what I want. No, ladies and gentlemen. That's not the way Hashem wants you to go. He wants you to go in the light. But in order to get to the light, you may have to walk through a dark tunnel. The purpose of the tunnel isn't for you to live there and to stay there. The purpose is for you to eventually get into the light. You got to get in there. Because if we never make it into the light, if we never get past the struggle, we can never get to a point of growth. We never know what's on the other side of struggle if we don't work for it, if we don't lean into the pain, if we don't lean into the struggle. I remember I was on this personal growth, inspirational kick years ago. And one of the things that kept coming up in all the inspirational talk circles is that your best self, the best version of you, is on the other side of your comfort. Meaning, look at struggle as a hill. The struggle is the climb up the hill. But your best life is on the other side. You're walking down. It's easy. But you gotta climb up the hill. And I don't know how big your hill is. Some hills are an anthill. Some hills are Mount Everest. I don't know what your hill is, but I do know for a fact that if you don't give up and you keep climbing, once you get to the top, life is so much easier on the other side. But don't think it's over, because as long as there's breath in your lungs, as long as you're willing to grow, you will face struggle. And it may not be surmountable. Don't think of everything as this, dramatic, oh my God, I lost my job and I'm a paycheck away from being out on the street. Like, oh my God, my spouse has done something and we're seconds from divorce. Oh my God, my child is this. Or, oh my God, my parent is this. Or no, sometimes the things can be internal, something that you struggle silently by yourself. It could be something that you're trying to discipline yourself with. And I don't know what yours is, but I can tell you all struggles aren't as dramatic as we think that they are. Some of them are just little things that Hashem wants to refine in you so that you can grow and be a better person. Because you being a better you makes everyone around you a better them. All right? And again, maybe your Egypt is, I don't know, trying to stay consistent, but you keep failing, trying to grow, and you feel stuck. You're going to Daf Yomi after Daf Yomi. You've reading the page of the Mishnah. You're going to a Shir. You're going to Kolel. You're going to you're listening to Torah anytime, all the time. And if you don't have Torah anytime, they did not tell me to do this, and I'm not getting paid for this, but that is actually a great godsend. So if you have not signed up for Torah Anytime or have an account, it's 100% free. You have thousands of shares to listen to that can help you through your struggle and help you grow. Matter of fact, I'll put Torah Anytime link in the show notes so that can help somebody through their struggle. But I don't know what your struggle is. Maybe you're trying to do the right thing, like I said before, and you're feeling resistance in every step. And you're thinking, why is this so hard? Why can't it just be easy? But what if the difficulty is the doorway? Again, everything can't be an easy path. Rav Hunter taught something very real. We imagine greatness as something smooth. We think Tzaddikim had a straight path, but that's not true. The path out of Egypt, the path out of Mitzrayim, it wasn't clean. It was chaotic. Remember, there was fear, there was doubt, there was hesitation. Even at the Yam Suf, there was hesitation. They had seen the miracles of Hashem 10 times over at this point. But yet, when they got to the beach, they said, this struggle is too big for Hashem. What do? I want to let you know that Hashem has been working in your life since the day you were born to get you to the place that you are today. And along the way, if your eyes were open, there was miracle after miracle after miracle to get you right where you are today. So whether you're listening to this in your car, whether you're listening to this in your cubicle, whether it's Kolmoid and Pesach and you're listening to this, whatever this time is, it's 3 years later and you're listening to this. Hashem has you right where you need to be. The question is, do you recognize it? And if you have bitachon and emunah for the things in the past, and Hashem showed up, when you get to your Red Sea, don't you think that Hashem, if he had the power to get you out of your Egypt, he has the power to get you through your Red Sea, on dry land, to the other side, unharmed. So sometimes growth looks like confusion. Sometimes growth looks like inconsistency. Sometimes growth looks like trying, failing, and getting back up again. And here's the key. If you expect growth to feel clean, you'll quit when it gets messy. Remember, the United States of America is only 4.2 to 4.5% of the world population, but consumes 80 to 90% of painkillers. Because when it gets messy, we quit. But if you understand that the mess is the process, you'll stay in the fight. Think about this. Before we left Egypt, we were at the 49th level of impurity. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you know this, but there's only 50 levels of impurity. And we were at the 49th level. We were pretty low. We weren't perfect. We weren't even close. And yet, that's when Hashem redeemed us. Why? Because growth doesn't happen when you're already there. Growth happens when you're struggling to get there. I'll say that again. Growth doesn't happen when you're already there. Growth happens when you're struggling to get there. But know this. The Yetziat wants you to misinterpret your struggle. It whispers, if this is hard, you're not cut out for this. If you were really growing, it wouldn't feel like this. Look how inconsistent you are. Look how lazy you are. Oh, you skipped the evening prayers because you were tired from work. You failed. Oh, you skipped that share at the kollel today because your kids needed you for something. Your spouse needed you for something. You failed. But that's all a lie, ladies and gentlemen. The fight itself is the growth. Remember Cain back in Bereshit? You remember how he brought, not only did he bring Hashem an offering, a korban, he's the one who came up with the whole idea. I think we have, over the years, put a bad name on Cain. Did he do a bad thing? Absolutely. Did his generation suffer because of it? Absolutely. But I believe his heart was in the right place to begin with, because it was him that came up with the whole concept of korban anyway. He wanted to bring something that he made, something that he toiled for, worked for. Bring it to Hashem to get close to him. That's the whole point of a korban. Yet, although he came up with the idea, his brother, Abel, he had a better korban. And Hashem accepted his over Cain's. What did Cain do? We know he murdered his brother. But what did Hashem say to Cain before he murdered his brother? And I don't have a Chumash in front of me, paraphrasing here. He says, listen, the enemy, the Yetziat, is knocking at the door. if you're not careful, you'll let it in. But if you just have patience and wait, struggle just a little bit, it'll be good for you. And the next time you bring a korban, I'm going to accept it. But Cain was weak. And he saw the mess and he gave up. He saw the struggle and said it shouldn't be this hard. And he gave in. And he paid the ultimate price for it. There's two paths, ladies and gentlemen. There's the path on the other side of struggle. And you're a better person. Your spouse is a better person. Your children are a better person. Whoever you're living with, your brother, your sister, your mom, your dad, they're better people because you were able to go through that struggle. Sometimes your struggle is an inspiration for someone else. And a story is going to be told about you, how you struggled and yet overcame. Or you can tell the story yourself if you're going through a silent struggle, who knows? Or the second path is you being defeated in the struggle because you didn't think the struggle was worth the fight. And now the story is not about how you overcame, but now the story is, hey, remember that guy? Remember that gal? Don't be like them. You don't want to be a how not to story. You want to be a how to story. You want people to be able to look at you and say, man, that family went through something, but they came out on the side. Man, that guy went through something, but he had emunah, bitachon. He believed and trusted in Hashem, and he got through it. And man, he's a better person because of it. Don't believe the lie of the Yetziat. Everything is not a happy path. Every time you push back, even a little, you're leaving Egypt. So every moment you choose discipline over comfort, you break a chain. Every time you get back up after falling, you step closer to redemption. Every time you fight your inner resistance, you're rewriting who you are. So what's the practicality in all this? Here's what I want us to do. Identify our Mitzrayim. Be honest with yourself. Where do you feel stuck? Where do you feel resistance? Where do you feel like giving up? Now, instead of running from it, lean into it. Say, this is not here to stop me. It's here to build me. And take one small step forward. No one is saying that you're going to overcome tomorrow. No one's saying that the struggle is going to be over in a few minutes, a few weeks, a few months, a few years. I don't know what that time frame is for you. I believe that Hashem keeps bringing stuff back to us, trials, tests. And when we finally pass it, he brings you on to another one. Because now you're at a different level. You're at a different step, right? So our ancestors, although they were at the 49th level of impurity, we know that while in the Bar Midbar, they became the holiest people that ever walked planet Earth. So how did they go from the lowest people to the holiest people? It's because they eventually leaned in the struggle. They accepted after a while, especially after the spies came back and they got the report that they'll be in there for 40 years. You're not going anywhere. Some of y'all not going to see the promised land. They accepted the struggle. And the struggle was so good that their children saw the struggle. And these were the children that eventually became adults, that eventually went into the land of Israel and took the land. And we know that first generation that went in with Joshua was a perfect generation. Now, the people after them, we know our ups and downs, our ebb and flows with Hashem, going in and out of disobedience and obedience through the book of Judges. But the fact is that the struggle made the people in the Bar Midbar very close to perfect. Their children saw it. and they took that same attitude with them into the land. So there's no perfection in struggle. It's just movement. You're going to mess up. You're going to fall back. And it's okay as long as you're moving forward. Get back up. Beat your chest. Tell Hashem what you did wrong. He's forgiving. He doesn't give us, thank Hashem that he doesn't give us what we deserve. Baruch Hashem, that he holds back his anger. We read it all the time in our davening. He's a merciful, loving, generous God who frequently holds back his anger and doesn't give us what we deserve. Baruch Hashem. I'm going to end you with this. I'm going to leave you with this. Pesach is not just a story of what happened. It's a map. A map that shows you darkness can turn into light. Struggle can turn into strength. Constraint can turn into freedom. But only if you walk through it. So the next time you feel the weight of your struggle, don't see it as a sign that you're failing. See it as a sign that you're redeeming or your redemption is being formed. Because Rav Hunter already told you, you don't grow despite struggle. You grow because of it. Listen, I hope everyone has a wonderful Pesach. I hope that wherever you are, whether you're staying in town, you're going out of town, kids are back home, or you're going to your kids, whatever it may be, I hope it's a wonderful hog. I hope it's safe. I hope you get all the matzah that you can stand. And I hope that as we're sitting at the Seder table, that we read about our story, we read about our struggle, and we see how Hashem works through it, not to destroy a people, but to grow a people. Light up the darkness, change the world. Peace.
Thanks for listening to That Jewish Podcast. If this episode meant something to you, helped you grow, or made you feel more connected to the Jewish people, please follow or subscribe so you don't miss future conversations. Share this episode with a friend, especially someone who sees things a little differently. That's how unity gets stronger. And if your platform allows it, leave a rating and review to help more people discover the show. Also search That Jewish Podcast on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and WhatsApp. This is a space for thoughtful conversations about Jewish life, Jewish identity, and bringing all of Israel closer together. Until next time, stay connected, keep growing, and keep showing up for one another.